stack of rock. Hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a stack of rock with Mike and the Fat Metal Man. Grab a stack of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a stack of rock. Grab a stack of rock.
Hey, Jex Russell.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hey, look.
Happy pre-Canada Day.
Yes, happy pre-Canada Day to you and all our fellow Canadians out there.
Yes, it is tomorrow, Canada Day, but the Canada Day weekend has started. You and I are both off for the weekend.
Correct? Long weekend.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Now, as you know, we are doing the Nigel Tufnell top 10, top 10, which is really 11. Canadian bands that are lesser known or unknown outside of Canada. Stack of rock. Dark. Yes, that's right. Well, listen, Chris, if you want to see a topless show, I can message you the address where you can see one right now. I mean, that's not impossible.
We'd rather you stayed here.
We'd rather you stayed here. But before anybody takes their clothes off, we usually like to start the show with a little something called Ask Harrison. Now, Harrison is asleep right now, and we have Jex Russell with us today from Jex Vinyl World, and we have a question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Going to make some coffee. Oh, look at that. Jeff Taylor's always one step ahead of me.
Not before I make my coffee. Oh, speaking of better, what do you think's better, VHS or Betamax?
You're a beta.
Hey!
Over to you, my friend.
You know, I don't feel like I can give a fair answer to that because growing up, we were a VHS family. We had VHS. We had a beast of a VCR, the top loader. It opened up on top and it always did the ka-chunk, loud ka-chunk. And then you press play and you could hear the ka-ka-ka-ka. Yeah, I miss that VCR. But yeah, I never experienced, I don't think I've ever watched a movie on Betamax. I know of it. I know what it looks like. I know the little cartridge it's the one reel. But yeah, apparently VHS is better if I had to guess because they won the war, right? Really, I can't give a fair answer. I've never watched.
That's a can of worms I'm not going to open because I know there's a lot of defenders. But same here. I grew up with a VHS, and as a segue, a lot of these bands on my list go back to my VHS days, recording music videos on Much Music. Now, what view do you prefer? I mean, this is nice, but that's nice because you get my Helix bass.
There you go.
That bass used to belong. Here's some CanCon for you. That bass used to belong to Don Simmons, who was the original keyboard player in Helix when they first formed in 1974. And he can be seen on the 30th anniversary concert DVD playing the Buffs Bar Blues with the original lineup of Helix. And he was neighbor 2 doors down. He was the brother of Donna down this 2 doors down. So, and we may see Donna walking down the road.
Right. So how did you end up with the bass?
Well, unfortunately, Don passed away in 2022, I think. Anyway, so he had a lot of guitars, a lot. Here's the crazy thing. My sister bought one of his basses too. She has an electric bass.
Right on.
It's Don's. So maybe actually we're going to do lots of shows from the cottage, I hope, this summer. Maybe sometime when my sister is with us, maybe I can get her to show off her bass.
That would be cool.
Yeah. But why don't we start with some lists, shall we? So just to set down some ground rules here, I kind of scratched a lot of names off my list that I felt were too big overseas or in Japan. And I'll get to those names later so that there's no spoilers. I assume that you had similar criteria.
A little bit, yeah. Well, the reason this list was so hard because we wanted it to be like bands you may not have heard of outside of Canada. So that eliminates like the huge bands like Rush,
Triumph,
Triumph, or if you're going on a heavy metal spectrum, I'm thinking of Anvil, Annihilator, Razor, Exciter. They all, I have friends from other countries that know of those bands. So we had to try to narrow it down to bands like, okay, I don't think many people know about them outside Canada. So maybe they do. I tried to think of like, I never hear people talk about these bands. So we'll see. We'll see. It's I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your list, Mike.
I'm excited to hear yours, my friend, because we have some years apart from each other. I am about, roughly 13 years older than you.
Yeah.
So you're from basically the next generation.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends that are your age didn't grow up listening to the kind of music that you have taste for. So I'm curious to hear your list. And fortunately, we always start with the guest. So that would be you, my friend. Number 11. Oh, wait. This is the Nigel Tufnell Top 10. We got to do this.
Come on.
Nigel Tufnell. The Top 10. Nigel Tufnell. The Top 10. Nigel Tufnell. Oh, these ones go to Nigel Tufnell. The Top 10. Nigel Tufnell.
Whoa, what's that you got there, Jex Russell?
Well, this is a tote bag for our good friend Tim Durling over at Tim's Vinyl Confessions, and you can get yours over at tpublic.com.
That's very cool. We'll be doing some plugging for tpublic.com throughout the show tonight, incidentally.
Yes.
And if you want to buy some Grab a Stack of Rock merch and help support what we do here, I'd really appreciate it. But we'll be talking more about that. Sorry, something in my throat. Let's get to the list while I mute myself.
Oh, jeez, poor guy. Don't you just love that song, folks? The Nigel Tufnell Top 10. I mean, I thought about singing the Canadian national anthem, but I'm not going to put you guys through it.
We'll spare you and respect the country better.
Exactly. All right, let's go. Number 11. Let's jump right in. Funnily enough, a good chunk of the bands I picked are all from Ontario. I think 9 out of my 11 are from Ontario. Coincidence. I didn't plan that. It just so happens a lot of great bands come out of your province, Mike. So first band is from Toronto, and they're a little band way at the end of the alphabet. I think it's the last record on my shelf. It's a little band called Zon.
Zod. Okay, tell me about Zod.
So Zon, not Zod, that's
Zon.
a Superman villain.
Oh, okay, it's Zon.
Zon, Z-O-N.
Okay.
It's not Kneel Before Zod.
That's too bad. I've actually seen this cover on Facebook. I just don't know anything about these guys.
Well, yeah, they didn't have many albums. So they formed in the mid-'70s in Toronto, Ontario, and they only released 3 albums. So by the time the 80s rolled in, they had 3 albums, and that was it. Then they called it quits. First album was in 78 called Astral Projector. And then this one here in 79, Back Down to Earth. It's their second album, the only one I have. And then they had the next year, 1980, I'm Worried About the Boys was their third and final album. And I refer to these guys as the Canadian Styx. Like if you pop on their first album, Astral Projector, you drop the needle. That first song that comes on is a song called Put on the Show, which it sounds suspiciously similar to the song Put Me On by Styx, which is the opening track on Crystal Ball. So many similarities. You could almost say it's a ripoff, but they do make it their own, and they have a very similar sound. It's like AOR, radio-friendly rock.
Okay.
But I dig them, and I need to get their 2 other albums. So, yeah, I recommend it.
Okay, so for the record, where are they from exactly in Southern Ontario?
Toronto.
Ontario. Toronto. Okay, sorry. I'm going to start making notes because I am going to kind of tally I always post the sort of a show summary on my website the following day. Right. So I'm going to keep track of yours, Zon from Toronto, and then I might even make a graph. We'll see. My number 11 is from Kitchener, Ontario. And no surprise here. Everybody who knows me knows I love this band. And it's a little band out of KW, and I'm going to put myself in this. I got to do Harrison's job here today. Little band out of KW called Max the Axe.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah.
This is their debut cassette, Bodies of Water. I believe it's 1995, if I'm not mistaken.
They've been around that long?
Sorry?
They've been around that long?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no idea.
He's kind of a big deal. He goes all the way back to Mutant Starfish in his when he was based out of Vancouver, BC. But he bills himself here as Max the Swingin' Axe. This cassette was the very last copy in existence. Wow. And he gave it to me. And though this EP, his debut EP, does exist on CD, it does not have Guns to Iran with lead vocals by Max the Axe himself. That is not on the CD version. Max has a lot of stuff out. His debut full-length album, Max the Axe, from 2004. And when I say he, I mean they, but he is the founder, he is the Jimmy Page, he is the Tony Iommi, you know. Max the Axe, the Overload EP. That is the opening track that we hear at the beginning of the show every week is Overload by Max the Axe. And we'll probably hear that a little bit later on again, because we're going to play a lot of music today. This is his first greatest hits album, $1 Trillion Threats. Includes a lot of tracks going back to the first EP, including, I believe this has a remake of Guns to Iran with somebody else singing. This has a lot of different lead singers on it. My personal favorite, Status Electric, featuring the great Uncle Meat, Eric Litwiller on lead vocals. 2018, can't believe it's been that long already. They are very proud of this album, and rightfully so. Jex, I need to find a way to get you some of these CDs.
Please.
And to date, their most recent release, the Oktoberfest Cheer EP. 3-track EP featuring an original called Pygmy Blow Dart. Thirsty and Miserable, which is Black Flag cover, and another original Oktoberfest Cheer. The very controversial Oktoberfest Cheer. Some love it, some hate it. I'm on the love side. Number 11 on my list from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. He's kind of a big deal. Max, the Swingin' Axe.
Right on. Everything I know about Max the Axe, I know from you.
I did say I was going to tell this story.
Yes.
I posted a Queensryche interview this week with Erica M. interviewing Jeff Tate and Chris DeGarmo on the Empire Tour. And he commented that he interviewed Queensryche as well. And then he just dropped another comment in there saying that Erica M. He said Jeff Tate was not very receptive to him when he interviewed him in his Vancouver days. And then he said Erica M. was very receptive to him when he met her at a club. And then he said, I really regret not agreeing to covert activities with Erica M. that night. And I'm like, things that may not have happened. I don't know. I'm not Max. I know that you promised you'd watch this show. You posted those comments publicly, so this is fair game. Did Max the Axe turn down Erica M?
Or does he have an active imagination?
Or is it just legend? I mean, he is kind of a big, I swear to God, and I don't mean to make this too long. I was at a restaurant with him, and he did say he is kind of a big deal to the waitress. And he tried to give her, I think he did give her one of his CDs. And anyway, enough said about Max the Axe. That's my number 11. Why don't we see what you've got for? Oh, we got some comments. Let's see who's here. John T. Snow's in the house. You know what? John T. Snow, just for you.
Hey, John.
Just for you. Maybe this is a good place to pause and do an unboxing.
Let's do it.
John T. Snow has something to tell you folks.
Hey guys, it's John Snow with Too Loud, Too Old Music. Want to wish my Canadian friends a happy Canada Day tomorrow. If you get bored, go to tpublic.com and support our friends at Tim's Vinyl Confessions, grab a stack of rock, and me at Too Loud, Too Old Music. You'll have a great show.
There it is.
Yes.
My brand new Too Loud, Too Old Music shirt.
Ooh, is that green?
It is green. And I was wondering about the colors. I asked John what he thought. He thought I should go with it. It's a much more deep, vibrant green than it's coming across on camera. So that's because I'm being washed out by the sun behind me.
Yeah.
And I really, nothing against John, but I think this one.
Ooh. They're both great.
Really going to look cool walking down the street. Tim's Vinyl Confessions shirt, done in the style of his favorite British band out of Sheffield.
That's cool. Those are some great shirts. I like the combination of the green and the orange, is it, with the speakers for the Too Loud, Too Old?
Yeah. Hang on. Show that one more time because John's liking it too. Yeah. And incidentally, if you go to tpublic.com, you customize these shirts. You get them in any color you want, any style you want. I'm going to be showing you some more shirts. Spoiler alert later on.
Yeah. Well, since John was wishing us a happy Canada Day, I want to wish a happy 4th of July to our American friends. Indeed. I got the American colors, got the red, the white, and the blue.
Okay, I was going to ask if you were like a Habs fan or something.
I know, right? It's not a Habs shirt. It looks like it. No, this is like a vintage 70s shirt, man. Look at that. Grab a stack of rocks.
And you'll recognize some of those handsome faces.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy the Faces shirt. You'll see I've got logo shirts too, but we'll get there. Number 10, Jex
Number
Russell.
10, from Windsor, Ontario. Keeping it in Ontario once again.
Windsor. Okay.
Formed in I didn't write the year they were formed.
That's okay.
In the early to mid 70s. Hold on, I need to find them. I had like quite the afternoon, folks. I didn't get this set up the way I wanted to. It's a little band.
Windsor's across the river from Detroit City, for those who don't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, there you go.
Well, I teased about these last weekend when we did a show, and that's because they're called Tees.
Tees, okay. I'm learning tonight. I knew nothing about these guys.
Really?
Yeah, nothing at all.
This is just straight up rock and roll. Great stuff. I don't know who to compare them to.
Looks very glam. Looks very glam.
A little bit. Again, I don't know. It's been a while since I listened to these. I don't really know who to compare them to fairly, but it's straight up rock. On the Loose. This is the album On the Loose here. And the title track, which opens up side 2, that was my introduction to the band years ago. When I just started collecting vinyl. I was about 19. And I was with my first girlfriend, and her dad had a box of 45s, and he lent them to me because he knew I was getting into vinyl. And one 45 was Tees. No idea. A lot of Canadian bands in that box. Haywire is another one I remember being in there. Bad Bad Boys.
I saw them live. They opened for Helix.
Haywire?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's how I discovered them, was in that box. But Tees, On the Loose, I'm like, Haywire is kind of a little more on the poppier rock side, right?
Right.
Then I go on Tees, On the Loose. And just the drums are do 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 do, and then the guitar. I was like, holy crap! And not all of the album is that heavy, but that track is like, wow. If anyone's gonna check out Tees right now, I recommend that title track, On the Loose.
That's cool, man.
You won't regret it. And there's another song on here, Lady Killer, which closes the album. That could have been like an early Priest song. Like it could have been on Rock-A-Rolla or maybe even Sad Wings of Destiny. It's almost got that vibe. So those are
I'm really intrigued now. I'm really intrigued.
Check it out. Like again, not every song sound that heavy. They got some stuff that might sound like April Wine, for example. But those two tracks I named, On the Loose, Lady Killer, those are like some heavy stuff on here, especially for the time. This is in 1978. So this is their second album. In 77, they had a self-titled called Tees. And On the Loose. And then they had a live album called Tour of Japan in 79. And then again in 79, this one, One Night Stands. And then in 1980, an album called Body Shots. And again, much like Zahn, they were done after that. 1980. That was it. So it's kind of it was kind of short-lived. And they had a compilation in 1981 called A Taste of Tees. And I encourage our viewers to go check out the cover art for that. It's very suggestive. It features a woman licking a rocket-shaped popsicle, and that's all I'm going to say. And then, so that was their first compilation, and then in 1990 they released this called Best of Tees, and there's a sticker, you can't really see it, but it says over 60 minutes with, which was a popular
series. Okay,
yeah, it was a popular line back then. Helix had one, April Wine.
I was just listening to Over 60 Minutes with Red Rider. With Tom
right, yeah. So this is another one I'd recommend if you would just want a taste of the band. So yeah, just straight up rock and roll. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I recommend it. That's my number 10.
Ontario. Okay, cool. Right across the river. Now my next band is a little bit personal to a certain co-host of the show, and I'm a little biased here. Scott Bell. Oh, geez. Okay. Anyway.
I got the reference.
Yeah. Marco Doria, who's been a co-host on this show, most recently on the Spenny interview show. Thank you, Marco, for freaking nailing that one. Oh my God. I didn't even have to be here.
Marco from the Contrarians.
Yeah. Mystique. Now, I only discovered Mystique in 2022. I mean, I met Marco, I think, in 2021. And what happened was Marco started talking about his uncle Ray Doria. And he says, Yeah, my uncle was in a band called Slam Glory and a band called Mystique. And I was like, stop. Slam Glory? Slam Glory? You mean the band that's on Raw Meat #2? Slam Glory? Right there? I bought this album in 1993 from Meat Magazine. You remember Meat Magazine?
Yes.
That's his uncle Ray Doria, the lead vocalist in Slam Glory, which is one of the tracks I liked the most off this CD. Well, before Slam Glory, which was more hard rock, he had this very progressive metal band called Mystique. And this is the CD reissue. You can buy this. I think there's still copies available. Just look them up on Facebook. But most interestingly, Marco is now a movie director, an award-winning movie director for this amazing documentary, Standing on the Firing Line. I got to get you a copy of this.
Yeah. Way to go, Marco. Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations, Marco. There is a 90-minute cut of the movie that they are kind of touring around in theaters and whatnot. And if they get into streaming it, they're going to stream the 90-minute cut. This is like a 2-hour. Oh, here it is, 139-minute cut. Marco always said that he thought it was a little on the long side, so he was never really 100% satisfied with this as a cut. So now that he's got this 90-minute cut out, that'll be the one that people want to see, I think. But
that's quite that's 60 minutes that he took out, basically. That's a lot of cuts.
I don't know how that's going to go. I want to see it. I very much enjoyed this, and Marco was kind enough to provide a clip for us. So we're going to see a clip here about Mystique. It'll give you an idea of their style of music, although it's very varied. They did a cover of Queen's Stone Cold Crazy on here.
I listened to it. I went on YouTube and listened to it. Great cover. Great cover.
But this clip features a song called I Am the King. And it's a clip, I think they refer to this as the God Note. And you'll be able to hear what makes Ray Doria special as a lead vocalist in this clip. Check this out. Thank you, Marco.
I Am the King memory for recording was Ray holding that note. It just went on forever and kept going and going. And we're sitting there watching him. And me and Eric looked at each other and went, oh my God, and he just kept going. That's Ray. That's not effects.
8 bars or 12. I don't know. It was long. It's freaking long. But I used to practice a lot of breathing exercises. I did a lot of that. I didn't stop when I went to France. Live, I cut, I take a quick breath, and do the whole note. But on the recording, it's right from the minute I start talking, can I be the king? And it's all the same breath, that whole note, everything. I remember doing it, looking in the control room, and everybody's looking, and they're like, oh my God, and they're freaking out because I'm still going. I actually have a live recording of me doing I Am the King, and I hold the note same way.
Can I be the king?
I can see your face. Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
That's my number 10, and for very good reason, is Mystique. I'm glad I've discovered them. Thank you, Marco, for introducing the world to Mystique. I hope they're not unknown around the world for very long.
Yeah. I gotta find a way to see that documentary. I'm really interested.
I will hook you up. I think you'll want the full length version, right? The 2-hour plus cut.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk to Marco about it too. Like, I'd love to hear his input.
Well, it's very, very likely we'll have Marco on again soon. So
nice.
Maybe we can arrange such a meeting.
Woo. All right. So where are we now? Number 9?
Number 9. You're number 9.
All right. So this one, first band not to be out of Ontario. This is a little band from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Okay.
Formed in 1975.
Okay.
And their name is Harlequin.
Ah.
You know Harlequin?
Yes.
So they also fall into the category of very radio-friendly rock. I kind of have these in themes. I start out really radio-friendly, and it gets heavier. For you metal fans out there, stay tuned. Okay. So they actually have 6 albums in total, spanning from 1979 all the way to 2007. So this, unlike the 2 first bands I talked about, they actually surpassed the 80s and the 90s and so on. So they were around a little longer. I mean, there are some spaces in between albums, but they, 2007. That's pretty impressive. This is their second album titled Love Crimes, and it features two of their biggest hits, Innocence and Thinking of You. And I absolutely love that song, Thinking of You. These two songs get extensive radio airplay here in Canada. Always hear them, and I never get tired. When I hear that Thinking of You song, I crank it up. It's just like that guitar. Ba-na-na-na, dum-dum, ch, ba-na-na-na. And then, when the vocals come in, Thinking of You, dum-dum, ch, Thinking of You. It's contagious, man. It's contagious.
Thank you for reminding me of that song. I love that song.
Right? So you know it.
Yeah, I totally know it. Yeah.
And you probably heard Innocence too. Innocence.
I know that one as well. It's the kind of thing where I would hear them at work when I was working at a place called United Rentals about 15 years ago. And I would hear those two songs, but I never really knew who was singing them, Right. And now I've got an appreciation for that.
There you go. Well, for the longest time, I thought those were April Wine songs. Well, not Innocence, but Thinking of You, I think it's April Wine. And then I looked up, oh no, it's Harlequin.
I thought it was April Wine as well. And I also thought that it had a sort of like an uncanny Aerosmith kind of sound to it as well.
True. Yeah, very true. Yeah, you're right. No, recommended. Harlequin, that's my number 9.
Number 9. Okay, so my number 9. Hang on a second. You know what, Jex? I wish I wasn't drinking out of a cardboard cup. I wish I had a mug or something like that.
Well,
oh, here's.
That's a funny looking mug. How do you get the coffee?
Oh, no, Jex, no. The mug's inside. Would you like to see my new mug from the Grab a Stack store at tpublic.com?
Well, I think I have to say yes. Imagine, I'm good.
Sorry, folks. Sorry for all the plugging here, but I've bought so much of my own stuff at tpublic.com that I really need you guys to help offset the cost. This is what a Grab a Stack of Raw coffee mug looks like. And you may say, Mike, I saw you drinking out of that mug last week. What do you need another one for? Well, the answer, folks, is that was actually my parents' coffee mug. They were kind enough to support my ridiculous endeavor here on YouTube. And I thought that I need my own Grab a Stack of Rock mug for when I'm at home. Because a guy at work used to say, every host of every show needs to be drinking out of his own coffee mug.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, having said that,
you need to get one
sorry, go ahead.
You need to get one for Jen too. You got it. I'm making you spend money, Mike.
Oh, frick, man. No, I was going to say the funny thing is that guy was trying to sell me coffee mugs that he was making, but it's much easier for me to just upload my design at tpublic.com, and now I've done that part for you. Anyway, my number 9. I listened to this album this morning. Martin Popoff, at one point, I believe, called these guys his favorite Canadian band or something like that.
Okay.
He said this in the book Riff Kills Man. They were short-lived. Their debut album, I believe, came out in 1988. Okay. Double check that as I talk. And 1988 on Slash Records. They put out 3 records in total. First was a self-titled. Second was called Gump. And the third was called Kex. Interesting thing about this band. They had 3 guys in the band. There were a quartet with a lead singer and 3 musicians. The 3 guys were all named Don. Don Binns, Don Harrison, and oh shit, I just looked this up this afternoon so I wouldn't stumble. I'm gonna have to open the booklet here.
I'm stumped.
The Sons of Freedom, Don Harrison, Don Short, and Don Binns, featuring lead vocalist Jim Newton. And I believe Jim Newton changed his name from album to album because I think on one album he was named James Jerome Kingston. Sons of Freedom, hard to describe. Late 80s alternative rock. I hear a little bit of the Cult.
Okay.
The lead vocalist had a British accent, but what really comes to mind when I play this is the fucking heavy hammering rhythm section. Have you ever heard the song The Criminal? That was the big single on Much Music, The Criminal. Have you ever heard it?
I might have.
We got love, we got justice from above. But there's this heavy hammering riff. And it's just fucking heavy.
It rings a bell.
Heavy hammering riff. These guys were out of Vancouver. And like I said, they did this 3-album run, broke up. But then the 3 Dons worked together again with another lead singer out of Ontario by the name of Lee Aaron.
Ah,
She did a project, I believe, in 1995, I'm going to say, 1996, called Too Precious. Number 2, and then the word precious, but with 2-letter I's. I don't know why 2-letter I's. Too Precious, with the 3 Dons from Sons of Freedom. I've never heard it. I have one track from it on a greatest hits that she did, but I've never heard the album, and I would like to rectify that at some point in the future. I would like to point out another really heavy hammering track on here called Fuck the System. That was very much enjoyable to me this afternoon, rocking to it on the porch. Where are they from? They are from Vancouver, BC. And yes, we did do some shameless plugs, and they're not over, my friend. So that was my number 9, Sons of Freedom, Vancouver, BC. So that brings us to your number 8.
My number 8, we're taking it back to Ontario, Toronto, once again.
Okay. Toronto.
It's the place where all the bands, come from. And this is a band formed in Toronto in 85.
Toronto in 85.
Yeah, they released their first EP independently in 1986, and then they got picked up by a label. I think it was a wing of, is it Capitol? It's called Intrepid Records, and then they released their self-titled debut in 1988, and the band is called National Velvet.
Dude, okay. Pause. Stop. Maria Del Mar, lead vocalist, right?
Yes.
My best friend back in my high school days, Peter Cavan, had such a crush on Maria Del Mar.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who had National Velvet. Now, 1996, I was working at the record store. We got complimentary tickets to go see Helix at the club stages. And forgive me, Maria Del Mar, I do not remember what band she was in at the time. National Velvet had folded, and she was in a new band, and she was opening for Helix. And she sat next to us as we watched Helix, and she was so cool, dude. She was so cool. She was a little drunk, and I think she even put her arm around my shoulder as I was rocking. Because I was like rocking to Helix like this, and she's like puts her arm around my shoulder, and she's like, "Yeah!" And she starts rocking with me. We freaking gave her our record store cards.
Are you kidding me, Mike?
I'm not kidding. So that's my Maria Del Mar story. There she is, Maria Del Mar.
Man, this is. Courage.
Oh shit! I muted you by accident. Sorry, there. That was
Am
me.
I back?
Yeah, I meant to mute myself so I could cough.
That's all good. So this is their second album called Courage. This is all I have from them. This is great stuff. Gothic rock, I think, is how it's been advertised, and that's fitting because I find they sound a lot like Concrete Blonde. A lot of similarities to Concrete Blonde. The opening track on here is absolutely hilarious. Lyrically, it's called Sex Gorilla. And I didn't know this.
Sarsaparilla.
Exactly. Yeah. I only found that out today. I was on Wikipedia. It was called Sarsaparilla. And then the fans kept misunderstanding it as Sex Gorilla.
Right,
and then
right.
Fans were like, "Hey, play Sex Gorilla." So they actually rewrote it a little bit, changed the title to Sex Gorilla, and that's the opening track.
That is brilliant. I love it. National Velvet.
Something else I didn't know, on a little bit of a sadder note, the band was marked with tragedy when their bassist Mark Storm, he went missing in 2002, and his body was found in Lake Ontario in June of 2003.
Oh, I did not know any of that.
I didn't until today either. The band put on a benefit concert that summer to help out Mark's family at the time, and it's really sad stuff. But as for the music goes, I recommend it. I've found this last year. I haven't known these guys for a long time, and I dig it. Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I can vouch for that. And that has a cottage connection as well, which is Peter and I used to drive up to the cottage all the time in his little Suzuki. And he had a CD player in his car, and we listened to them a lot. They had 2 albums at that time, and
that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, I guess it's time for my number 8. I'll ask you a question. It is already 3:30. Do we want to play a song? Because my next pick has been on my show and is performed live on my show.
Oh, well, okay. Well, how about you tell us the pick and then play the song as a...
I failed to bring any albums of this artist with me, but Mr. Jacob Moon from Hamilton, Ontario might be best known for his acoustic cover of Subdivisions, recorded on a rooftop in Hamilton. And it's amazing. Hello, Mr. Deke. Jex has taken over his living room. He's in the office.
Yeah, yeah. Just finishing up my work day. I wish my living room looked like this.
He's in the office. Anyway, yeah, Jacob Moon, probably best known for that cover of Rush's Subdivisions, a brilliant acoustic cover. He does a lot of live looping, and that's one of the tracks that features the live looping. So he will, play the rhythm part, and then he will do play the synthesizer part on acoustic over that as a melody. And he also records himself saying subdivisions in a distorted voice, and then that loops and plays during the chorus. It's a brilliant cover. He performed Someday by Steve Earle on my show back in the LeBrain Train days in 2021. And maybe we'll play that at the end of the show. I was thinking if Jex has to leave, I might hang out and just play some tunes from some of my picks. But like I said, I forgot to bring Jacob's new EP or any of his other stuff with me. Jen recommended that I put Jacob Moon on this list yesterday after we arrived. And I was like, she's right. She's right. So my number 8 is Jacob Moon from Hamilton, Ontario. We're seeing a streak for Hamilton.
Yeah. I have a couple of Hamilton ones coming up too.
Cool.
I remember Jacob Moon. I remember you playing one of his songs when we ended a show one day. Very nice.
Yeah, it was one of the cottage shows, I think, because it was at the cottage that we had Jacob on. Yeah, and he was fantastic. I did not expect him to play a tune.
Yeah,
like that's how generous. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, but a musician likes their craft when they just want to play.
And he has a history with Uncle Meat and a history with Jen.
Really?
Yeah. I believe Uncle Meat went to high school with him, and Jen had a connection with him. He played at her church.
Cool.
Small world.
Small world.
Yeah.
So where are we? Number
7, my friend.
Numéro 7.
Sit.
All right. Very good.
We're not going to do too much bilingual, folks. I'm very rusty.
Très bien, Michel. Très bien.
Oui, oui. That's the limit. Oui, oui.
So number 7. Oh, okay. This one is from Scarborough, Ontario this time.
Interesting. Scarborough. Interesting.
And wait, I don't
Where are you going with this?
So this is just, again, straight up rock and roll. I would put them, I don't know. I was listening to this album earlier today, trying to think of a comparison. They fit well with like Max Webster, Kim Mitchell, but more like Max Webster. And it's a little band called
Gatto. I didn't know they're from Scarborough. Okay.
Yeah. You ever hear of Gatto?
Of course. Greg Godovitz played in... Oh crap! I think they were called the Carpet Frogs or something like that. They played in a local band at a club called Lulu's, and I ran into Greg Godovitz at a record show. He was wearing socks with Birkenstocks.
See, this was why I was so happy when I saw I had so many bands from Ontario. I'm like, chances are Mike has stories.
Yeah, I do.
All
respect to Gatto. All respect to Gatto, though. Like I jest. He wasn't wearing socks with Birkenstocks. I didn't make that.
So yeah, this is they were formed in 1975 by bassist and vocalist Greg Godovitz, and they released 7 albums from 1977 to 2003. So once again, they had a little bit more of a stretch, and yes, fantastic straight up rock and roll, no other way to describe it. And this is actually the only Gatto album I have. A fun fact, I picked this up. It was my very first time I met Tim Durling, the first time we hung out together. About 6 years ago, we were at a record store. And there you go, Timmy boy. This was the album I picked up that day. And they had more. This was at a store we go to called Spin It. And they had quite a few other Gatto albums. And I wish I would have gotten them all. I'll have to go check if they carry any in stock right now, because I need more Gatto in my collection. Because this album here is fantastic. It opens up with a song called Bus Driver Blues. So good, guys. Check it out. Check it out for sure. Take notes. There'll be a quiz.
I have a quiz. The aforementioned Meat magazine again. That goes to Raw Meat 1 and 2. These CD compilations. Drew Masters, who was the founder of Meat magazine, used to call out the song "Under My Hat" by Gatto as one of their very most special songs. I don't know it personally. Under My Hat.
Interesting. I can't place it. But yeah, you're so cool that you have those Raw Meat compilations.
It again, small world that I was listening to Ray Doria in that on that CD in that bedroom right over there, several feet from here that summer, 30 years ago exactly. And now I'm friends with Marco Doria, and it's just it's surreal how, yeah. And you know, some of these other bands that we have been talking about, Helix, and some bands that are in your list upcoming, I believe. I have personal connections with these bands. Sean Kelly from Helix has been on my show. I've interviewed Brent Durner. I've interviewed Brian Vollmer. That bass. Anyway, we're on to my number 7, correct?
Correct.
Another band. Again, personal connection. A man who's been on my show. Dan Fila, who is the current drummer in Svengali. But here is a very rare Svengali sampler for In My Garden. This came from my subscription to Meat magazine. Promo only, not for sale.
Oh, amazing.
Now they just staged a major comeback concert. They suffered a little bit of tragedy when their original guitar player Dee Cernil succumbed to cancer. A while ago. They came back to life with 2 members of Varga, Sean Williamson on guitar, and now Dan Fila on bass. Drums. They always had kind of like a revolving drum stool. Their debut album here, well, this is a sampler from the debut album, had Greg Gerson on drums, who's known from Billy Idol's band. But they've had different drummers over the years, and Dan Fila, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of the drummers that they've had. And I was very proud to have him on the LeBrain train a few years ago. And Svengali, my number 7. They are from Hamilton and the Niagara region as well. So I'm calling it both Hamilton and Niagara. They have to date 2 albums, the self-titled debut and In Wire from 1995. That album is a little bit on the grungy side. It was produced by Kelly Gray of Queensryche, later on from Queensryche. And he tended to do that to bands like Dokken. I probably should say as little as possible about that. And they recently released a new EP, Svengali 3, and they have a new album incoming. I believe it's called Bombs and Battle Scars. Svengali.
It's so funny when you say like rotating door of drummers. It's so hard not to think of Spinal Tap, right? Am I the only one?
Nope. Incidentally, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Nurse Cat, who is working tomorrow on Canada Day. But as soon as I played that Nigel Tufnell top 10 last week, she knew. She's like, I got that reference. So shout out to Nurse Cat.
Right on. Hello. All right. So where are we?
Number 6.
Ooh, okay. Now this I think is probably the least known band on my list. They're a 1-album wonder, one and done.
Okay.
They had 1 album.
Okay.
They're from Oshawa, Ontario.
Oshawa, of all places.
They're a thrash metal band.
Okay. You're ringing some bells.
So they released a demo titled Harmony Disturbed in 1991, followed by their full-length album in 1992, an album called This Infinite God.
Okay.
And the band is called Splatterpunk.
I don't know this one at all. Splatterpunk.
This is straight up thrash metal. So good. They remind me a lot of, Sacred Reich?
Oh, yeah.
Very similar, especially like in the vocals. Very Sacred Reich-ish.
Okay.
And this is it. This is their 1 album. And it's good, man. It's good. It was released on the well-known label Fringe. It's a Fringe product.
Fringe. Oh yeah, man. The Meat magazine. They used to sell Fringe stuff all the time, and yeah, it was a lot of like crossover stuff, and a lot of thrash.
Right. But for those of you who don't know Fringe, it's a Canadian label, and like Mike said, they had a lot of punk stuff, crossover, a lot of heavy metal stuff. Like you had some death metal, all kinds, thrash metal. And they were like very like independent. I think they were like a small label, but they released some great stuff. I know some of the like Dead Kennedys stuff was distributed through Fringe in Canada, and I think DRI. I had a DRI cassette. I think was on Fringe. But all that to say that they have a song on here called Inner Sanctum that appeared on the compilation. Hold on, I brought props, people. In 1993, called A Touch of Fringe.
Oh, yes, I remember that thing.
Right?
I do.
This is crazy. A lot of heavy stuff on here, some punk stuff. And
can you just show the Fringe thing again on the screen, the back cover? Not that you can read. Well, yeah, you could pause that, folks. You can pause that and read it. There you go.
Yeah.
Beauty. That's awesome.
Look at number 8, track number 8 specifically. Next time you pause. So yeah, Splatterpunk. That's all I can say. Like if you're a fan of like really raw thrash metal, check it out. I mean, look at these guys. They have the "We Are So Badass" look down packed, right?
Oh yeah, those guys definitely. They were not attending every class in high school. They were definitely spending a lot of time in the smoking pit at their school.
And there's I forget where, maybe it's in the booklet. I feel like there's like in the thank yous, they thank like one of their mothers for like, letting us rehearse in the basement. Like they actually sound like really like like nice dudes, but they look like we are evil, you know?
Yeah, they totally look like they want to be taken seriously.
Yeah, well, it's like Metallica, right? If you look at the back of Kill 'Em All,
Oh yeah,
you know, that's what bands did.
Here's my thrash face.
Oh, stop it! You're scaring me.
Hey, do you see Chris Sarr's comment on the screen there?
Shameless plug. It's about that time.
It's about that time. You know, folks, I am serious when I say that Tim, John, and I would really appreciate your support at tpublic.com. That's my address. You can look up Tim's Vinyl Confessions. You can look up Too Loud, Too Old Music, and you can get yourself a nice piece of merch. Now, here's something I've been waiting for a while. It is the brand new T-Bone Man shirt from the latest chapter, the epic conclusion to T-Bone Man Phase 1. And I am really proud of my buddy Harrison for that artwork. I think that he just did a bang-up job with that. He just captured that whole Marvel Comics in the 80s look to me. Yeah. And, of course, his Lego figures are always spot on. And this also has back print. And I'm going to be sporting this one, I think, when I'm walking around town tomorrow. People are going to be like, what the hell is T-Bone Man? And secondly, I wanted a brand new hoodie. And I got a brand new hoodie with the brand new Faces layout. So for those of us who haven't been paying attention, that means that's Spenny. That's me. That's Harrison Kopp, my great Lego artist and co-host. In the second row, we've got Grace Shield, harpist and sometimes guest on the show. We have Kevin Simister, who's buried on Mars. And, of course, Tim's Vinyl Confessions, Jex Russell, and T-Bone himself. And these are very nice quality shirts from tpublic.com. Enough with the plugging. Thank you, Chris Sarr, for the opportunity, though. Nobody. That's why I need you guys to buy a shirt. My number 6 is from Toronto, Ontario, and he has been a guest on my show. Thanks to Deke, who knows these guys. You know, he's got them on speed dial. Do you know how Deke got the nickname Balls of Steel?
I didn't know that was a nickname of his.
Because he would just be like, I'm just going to message Martin Popoff and see if he wants to come on the show. I'm just going to message Greg Fraser from Stormforce. Runner, incidentally, Greg Fraser from Stormforce has been on the show. And, you know, he has like Sean Kelly on speed dial. And I couldn't pick Helix. I thought Helix were just too well known overseas and in the United States to put on this list. Although I brought a Brian Vollmer solo album just for the heck of it. His debut solo album, When Pigs Fly, from 1999. And I brought solo projects from Brent Durner, My Wicked Twin, Brent Durner's Decibel.
Nice.
So, you know, I've got Helix representation, and Sean is a co-writer of Brian Vollmer's, and he actually played bass in Helix for a short while as well. But Trapper is his band with M. Greiner. And Songs from the Electric North is a very rare cassette. I've never opened it. I downloaded the EP off iTunes as well so that I wouldn't have to open this. There's your track list. And yes, Jex, Bye Bye Mon Cowboy is a cover of Mitsu.
Yeah.
So there's two French language songs on this album. Bye Bye Mon Cowboy and Illegal.
That is a cover from a band called Corbeau, I believe. Which
I think you're right.
Oh, what's her name? Oh, I forget the lady who originally
Marjo from Vancouver.
Hey, Bonnie. Hello.
Thanks for watching, Mom.
Yeah, I believe Marjo was the vocalist of the original Illegal song. That's a great track. So I can
And
only
M.
imagine.
Griner kicks it in the butt. Actually, there's a live version that I think surpasses the studio version on this very rare cassette. They opened for Def Leppard. And actually, M. Griner appears on the new Def Leppard Drastic Symphonies, singing with Joe on Pour Some Sugar on Me. Check out our Tim's Vinyl Confessions episode on that. But yeah, Sean Kelly, super, super guy, incredibly smart. He just put out a new book called, oh God, what's it called?
Something about hair metal.
Hair
Right?
metal. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. I'm not allowed to buy things for myself right now. Everything's on my wish list for my birthday. So I'm not allowed to really buy things right now.
Well, what are those T-shirts then? What's all that merch?
No. I meant on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
On Amazon. I'm not allowed to buy like albums or box sets or shit right now.
T-Public is another story.
T-Public is a whole other story. This is a disease. This is a sickness. But look at that shirt. Like, how could you not want that shirt?
It's beautiful.
So you're number 5, sir, as we head into the top 5. You're number 5, sir.
So this is a band. I know. I knew going into that you know these guys, Mike. And today I decided to go on your website.
Okay. I think I know where we're headed.
I was like, oh, I want to see if you wrote anything about these guys. Lo and behold, you did. But you even interviewed one of the guys that you kind of mentioned earlier. Yeah. It's a little band called Varga.
Yes. Freeze! Don't move!
Oh, dude. So, yeah, so you interviewed the drummer. What was his name? I'm forgetting right now.
Fila.
What is it?
Dan Fila.
Yeah. So I saw that episode.
Bengali.
And Jon Snow as well was on that episode co-hosting with you. So I'm like, okay, so John has heard about these guys as well.
Yeah.
And this right here, this was just kind of a blind buy. About 6 years ago or so, I found this at a pawn shop. I'm like, this looks kind of cool. It's from Canada. You know, I'm looking them up at the same time. And it's like they mix like industrial metal and like a little bit of thrash, a little bit of everything on here. It's some heavy stuff at times, but melodic at times as well. And I highly recommend it. This is their first album.
Their first album, but they had an EP called Multiple Wargasms.
Right? Yeah. And this was like their first major label album when they signed on with BMG in 1993. And then they had an album after this called Oxygen, which I did listen to. I've only listened to that one once years ago. I don't remember it being as great as this one. Maybe I should listen to it again. I don't know.
More complex, I think.
I think so,
But they also did 2 reunion albums that are very, very complex and thrashy.
Yeah.
Return of the Metal or something like that.
Return of the Metal 2014. Yeah.
They were like, I listened to those. I kind of crammed before the Dan Fila interview, and man, those albums were a lot to digest.
Well, and it's funny you should mention it. Yeah, Return of the Metal 2014. And
That's the point.
Yeah. So I did some research, and this year in 2023, so far they released 4 singles that you can listen to on Spotify or whatever else you stream music on. They're called Synthex, Nine Glow, Whisper, and Candle Shop. So new Varga material. I haven't had a chance to check them out yet, but I was just so like, what? They're releasing new stuff. This is some great news. So yeah. So they're still around. They're still kicking around, going strong. So Varga, highly recommended. Check out that album Prototype from '93. I showed off.
Definitely. My next band is from Toronto, and I've talked to you about this band, and I believe you liked their new single. Here's the story. The lead vocalist was dating another famous in Canada lead vocalist, guy by the name of Brett from a band called the Glorious Sons. Well, I'm guessing that this didn't end well because their new single is tearing up the charts, and it's called Blame Brett. Yeah. This is an all-girl quartet called The Beaches. And some people look at me funny when I say that I like The Beaches, and I don't know why. They're fun. They're upbeat. They have like sort of like a pop punky edge on some tracks, a new wave kind of edge on some tracks. I didn't bring any of their material with me, sadly. But check out The Beaches, Blame Brett on YouTube. Insanely catchy, very upbeat, very fast, and the lyrics are out of this world. Hey, you know what? I'm all for it. I'm all for, girls' rights to do whatever the hell they please. And basically, the idea is this. It sounds like, from the lyrics, maybe Brett was a little promiscuous, perhaps. It's the impression that I get from the lyrics.
Yeah.
So the lead vocalist of the Beaches, Joe Miller, sounds like she's gone promiscuous too. But no more musicians, according to the lyrics. Only actors or tall boys in the Raptors. The Toronto Raptors, that is. I really love it. I've liked the Beaches for a while now. The first track I ever heard from them was Money back in, 2018 maybe. And they've come a long way since then. I think that their secret weapon is Leandra Earl, who plays both guitar and keyboards. And she just seems to be like the sort of like the epicenter of their social media. She seems to be the one that goes viral. And she just seems to be the one that fans gravitate to. She just has so much personality. And to see them live, she's always kind of dressed in a cowboy hat and a funky outfit, and she does these high kicks. I don't know how the hell she does them while still being able to play guitar. But I've said for a long time that Leandra Earl is the secret weapon of the Beaches, who, if you got a problem with it, F you. I picked the Beaches as my number 5.
Yeah.
Remember Uncle Meat gave me guff. The Beaches?
Really? I'm new to them. I discovered them through you. You told me when that single came out, so I checked it out. And well, it's not my usual.
Yeah, it's not my usual either.
But it's catchy, like you said. It stayed in my head, and then I remember a few days later, I still had it playing in my head, so I had to go listen to it again, which is weird. I'm like, this is not something I usually listen to. But it's like you said, they have that je ne sais quoi, right? They have that personality, and it's two sisters too, I believe, eh?
Yes, Joe Miller and Kylie Miller, along with Eliza Enman McDaniel and Leandra Earl.
Yeah, that Leandra Earl, like you said, she's got that personality thing. She's very I don't know how to describe it, but yeah.
Je ne sais quoi.
Exactly.
And Chris, their band name, they come from an area of Toronto called the Beaches. So that's where their name comes from. And originally they were called Done With Dolls. They had an earlier kind of like emo punk version of themselves called Done With Dolls with a different rhythm guitar player. And when they got Leandra Earl, they changed the name to the Beaches. But the same core 3 girls of the Miller sisters and Eliza on drums.
Nice. I think what Chris is saying, I think the reason why he's saying it's a horrible band name is because if you say it fast, it sounds like something else.
I think that's the point, though. I mean, like they're in your face. They've got a song called Snake Tongue, which is about dudes who rudely kind of like go, ugh, And
right.
there's a song called Snake Tongue, and it's like an FU to those guys who drive by in their cars going, ugh, And they're like, we are bitches, Deal with it.
You got to respect that.
Jex, I'm sorry. Like, are you pressed for time right now?
What time is it? 5 o'clock? Not really.
Okay. Do you mind if we play a quick song and come back?
Sure. Let's do it.
So I want to play that Jacob Moon track that we talked about earlier. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. But this is from the LeBrain Train days. This is a song called Someday, which is a Steve Earle cover. This is Jacob Moon, who was my number 8 pick from Hamilton, Ontario. We'll see you in a few minutes.
I'm gonna play us out with a song that's for Mr. Eric Litwiller here, and for the good old times of living in Kitchener-Waterloo and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
And this is a Steve Earle song. All right.
Yeah.
Because I know that Eric is right into Steve Earle, or was.
Big time.
We both are.
All right.
We both are.
All right. So here it is. It goes something like this. There ain't a lot that you can do in this town. Drive down to the lake and then you turn back around. Go to school so you can learn to read and write, so you can walk into the county bank and sign away your life. I work at the filler station on the interstate. Yeah. Pumping gasoline and counting out of state plates. You ask me how I sent to Memphis, son, and where's the nearest beer? Well, they don't even know that there's a town around here. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. I wanna know what's over the rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. Now, my brother went to college 'cause he played football. Me, I never even got through high school at all. Got me a 67 Chevy, she's low and sleek and black. Someday I'll put her on the interstate and never look back. Yeah. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. Well, I wanna know what's over the rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. I'm gonna get out of here someday.
Wicked.
Beautiful team, man.
Awesome.
There you go. Jacob Moon with Some Dave. That was my number 8. But Jex, we are actually at your number 4.
My number 4. Okay, well, this is going to be familiar territory to a lot of viewers. And I got to say, Mike, you did all the heavy lifting on this one at your number 7 spot.
Okay. There we go.
Svengali! Dude, like, yeah, you said it. You said it very well, my friend. Like, these guys they're really good, just straight up, like, hard rock, even heavy metal. But they came out, this album was released in 92, and I think it came out at a time when it just didn't come out at the right time. Because 92, as we all know, grunge was taking over, and I feel like they could have been bigger. Had this come out like in, I don't know, 3, 4 years.
Even 91, man.
Even
like,
91.
These guys are for people who like Sebastian Bach, Skid Row kind of stuff.
Exactly. I was going to say, it sounds like Skid Row a lot of the times.
Like Slave to the Grind era Skid Row.
Yes, there's even a song that kind of sounds like Monkey Business. I forget which one, but this, if you like that, Slave to the Grind, Skid Row, there you go.
Let's get a good screenshot here, Jex. This is going to be our 105. Okay, there we go.
Nice. Yeah, no, I love these guys. I'm so happy to find this CD.
That's been reissued on purple vinyl right now.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
I had no idea. So, what can I say? Like you said, they have 3 albums, Svengali in 92, In Wire in 95, and then just recently the 3 EP in 2020. But they released a single last year called Spellbound, which is actually
Triumph
really
cover.
good. What's that?
Triumph cover.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. And
their new album has songs produced by another LeBrain Train guest named Andy Curran from Coney Hatch. Dude, I'm going to tell you something.
Full circle.
Dan Fila sent me Spellbound by Triumph, their cover. He sent it to me months in advance of it being released, and he asked me my opinion on it. Holy shit, dude.
You had like an advance.
I fucking heard that thing It's pardon. I can't monetize this video now because all the swearing. I fucking had heard that song months before it was released to the public.
That's amazing. The
Yeah.
perks of being a host of your own show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Grant from Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Hey,
I'm gonna
Grant.
be on his show. I can't remember the exact date. We're going to be talking about 2 side projects of the Darkness called The Stone Gods and Hot Leg. And we are also going to be doing something with Tim and I doing Helix from Back for Another Taste through to, I think we're going to go right around to Chipmunk. Anyway, we're doing something like that. Anyway,
Right on.
my number.
Oh, wait. I wasn't done.
You're not done.
Well, real quick about Svengali, about this album here. It features a cover because they're from Hamilton.
Yes.
And it features a cover from another band from the Hamilton area, which we may or may not see later down the line. So I'll keep it at that.
Okay. Yeah. Very good track, by the way, and one of my favorites on that album. Okay, hang on. We got comments. There we go. And Mum will be wanting the cottage next weekend. And Grant, I cannot wait to do those shows with you, man. I got to start doing some prep. I also have to do a prep for our show that we're not going to discuss the topic, but we're doing one with Tim. Me and Robert Daniels are doing one with Tim with you. Anyway.
I got to also prepare for that. I haven't prepared all that.
No shit. I was supposed to watch it today, but I've been watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Okay, my number 4. From Regina, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Formed in the late 70s, I think. I have a very early single of theirs. They were then on a Playboy rock album with a different singer. And then they got another guy on lead vocals where they got signed to, I believe they got signed to Pasha with George Christian on lead vocals, a little band called Kick-Axe.
Yes.
This is Kick-Axe 4 with a different lead vocalist yet again. But this album's good too.
As soon as he said Pasha, I was like, wait.
They had Quiet Riot drum sound. You know, they had that Frankie Banali drum sound. Off the Rails, that was the title of Rudy Sarzo's autobiography. Cruise was great. I love Kick-Axe. I really do. I kind of, I don't think I owned any Kick-Axe on CD until 2019, 18. I was at Encore Records in Kitchener, Ontario, and they had the Rock Candy reissues. So I bought, not all in one sitting, but I bought all the Kick-Axe Rock Candy reissues with the bonus tracks and all the history stuff. And I'm like, oh, they had an early single? Oh, I got to buy that. So Discogs. Oh, they have a track on this Playboy Rock album? Discogs. Oh, that's right. They were on the Transformers soundtrack as Spectre General. Discogs.
Wait, that's them?
Yeah, man. That cover, it's not even a cover, but they wrote Hunger.
I've heard those tunes. I never knew that was Kick-Axe.
Yeah, that was Kick-Axe, Spectre General. So, they are known. Anybody who's seen the Transformers movie, which is millions and millions of kids, know Spectre General, but they don't know Kick-Axe. Now, George Christian kind of went more like a gospel country direction. He's never returned to the band. The lead vocalist on this album is the bassist Victor's brother, Gary Langan. Great singer. He reminds me of Phil Narrow out of Buffalo, Ontario, the late, great Phil Narrow. But he's no longer in the band either. They have I can't remember the current lead vocalist name, but they have not released an album since Kick-Axe 4. Otherwise, it's the same 4 guys as the Glory years when they were signed to Pasha. So there you go. Okay, Mom, safe trip. We'll talk to you super, super duper soon.
See you, Bonnie.
That is my numero 4.
All right.
As they say in parts of your province.
And now, number 3. It's appropriate that we're doing French because these guys are from the province of Quebec.
Oh, I hope I know which band we're talking about.
So, well, I think you got to know as soon as I tell you. They're from a little city or town called Saint-Bruno de Montarville.
Okay, maybe I don't. Saint Bruno de what?
Montarville. Montard Ville. But you know these guys.
Okay.
You know these guys.
I don't know that town name, but okay.
They released their latest album last year.
Okay. I have a guess.
Their third album since the 80s.
Okay, no, I don't. I don't. Oh, freaking hell! Of course, Sword.
No,
Dude, I've been all about Sword lately. That's embarrassing.
Well, that's why I was like, I was waiting. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. But I'll allow it. I'll allow it. No judgment, Mike. But yeah,
I
these
love
guys,
Sword 3.
What's that?
You know, see, here's what threw me is the town. Because 1986 in Montreal, I thought Montreal.
Right. True.
Okay.
True.
So that's my excuse, folks. That's my excuse. I was thrown.
Yeah, straight up heavy metal. Really, really great stuff. They only had, for the longest time, they only had 2 albums. Like I said, they released their 3rd album just last year. This album, and then I think, was it 88? 88, Sweet Dreams.
Sweet Dreams.
And again, that's another great one. This is all I have from them. I have this on CD. I have it on cassette. Don't have anything else from them, but I'd love to. Not easy to find. These don't pop up in the wild very often. I got this from a radio station. They let me have it. So I was very happy about that. But yeah, this is great stuff, guys. Oh, Dare to Spit. Check out that song. That's every time, like Dare to Spit. Exactly. Crazy guitar work. FTW, the opening track, Children of Heaven. Mike, Stoned Again.
God damn, I'm stoned again. Someone else is me. Lost all control again. Now I'm on my knees.
Oh yeah. As you can see, guys, you got two gentlemen here that are recommending you to check out this band. If you haven't heard of Sword, check it out.
1986 in Montreal.
Oh
shit.
That's it, man. Such good stuff.
Okay. I gotta ask you a question, Jex.
Yes.
Do you believe in the good in everyone?
I do, and I know who you're talking about.
From Halifax, Nova Scotia. I've brought a small chunk of my CD collection here. A little band called Sloan. These are all Japanese imports, folks.
Ooh.
There's the Obi strip. Each one of these has bonus tracks from singles. Navy Blues is one that kind of really, I'd say, pushed them over the top in Canada with Money City Maniacs. And, there's an urban legend that Chris Murphy is singing, and the joke is when he awoke his body was covered in goat piss. It's not true. It's Coke Fizz. Coke Fizz. Very 1960s cover art there.
Very much.
But that's their 4th album. I'm kind of just grabbed them in a stack here. The 3rd album, One Chord to Another. This is the only one that's not the Japanese import, but this one here has the bonus live disc, live at a Sloan party. This includes The Good in Everyone and Everything You've Done Wrong, The Lines You Amend. Oh my God, these are all great albums. Their debut album, Smeared, featuring Underwhelmed. She was underwhelmed. What a lot of people feel is their best album. Now, Deke did a Scotch on the Rocks about Sloan, and I believe this was the prime focus.
Really?
Twice Removed. Brilliant album. I can't pick a bad song on this album. Oh, God, so good. I like bands where all 4 members sing lead. And Sloan is one such band. This is Between the Bridges, my personal favorite Sloan album. I bought it. Originally, it came with Sloan trading cards. Mine are still sealed.
What?
Yeah. But what I love about this particular album is that it has a bonus track called Summer's My Season. And I was fortunate enough that they played it live when I saw Sloan in, I think it was early 2000. Summer's My Season features a verse about Kiss. They're big Kiss fans, these guys. They used to cover, I believe, Lover All I Can. But you must remember this. Kiss is still Kiss. Their style is denial. Consider it a race, something, something, something. But who would be the one to paint their face? Ace. And I remember when they announced this song live, I just started going ape shit. And people were like looking at me like, why is that guy going ape shit? Why is that guy going ape shit to this song that we've never heard of? I was screaming along. I was the only one. And who gives a fuck? Sloan. My number 3.
I used to have quite a bit of Sloan, actually. I had the first 3 albums that you showed.
Yep.
And I even had the Peppermint EP.
I have that. I just didn't bring it.
Yeah, and I sold all those a couple of years ago. Not because I think they're bad or anything. I was like, oh, I don't really listen to these anymore, and I got rid of them. And now I'm listening to you talk about them. I'm like, I should have kept those CDs, man. Because Sloan is good. Like they're.
I think Chris Starr's trying to disqualify me here. Would you say they're unknown outside of Canada enough, or am I disqualified here?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't heard.
They were suggested to me by one of the readers in the Let's Get Physical music group. They were suggested to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to ask our friends that are watching from other countries. Have you heard of Sloan? Let us know.
Let us know.
I couldn't tell you, yeah.
I know that they've played Japan and places like that, but
yeah.
No, I think
remember the actual title of this is bands that you may not have
right.
heard
Like
of.
we kind of I fudged all these freaking titles, man.
No, it's all good. I'm just letting the viewers know, like, hey, maybe you did, but there's a chance that you didn't.
So far, nobody's called us out for BS like they do frequently on Tim's Vinyl Confessions.
Where are we at?
We are at number 2. You're number 2. Seriously, we're in the number 2 spot.
Man, that was quick. This flew by.
Well, it's not really. What, an hour and a quarter.
So I've talked about these guys on your show before. My very first appearance, actually.
Oh, I know what this is. I hope.
Because I brought this up because I had just picked it up recently and I talked about it. So I'm going to talk about them again because I love them.
I hope. Yes, it is. The Spoons. That was also recommended.
Oh, I love the Spoons so much. And I've only gotten into them like last year and I'm hooked. I'm obsessed. I'm still loving them.
Are they Toronto?
They Burlington, Ontario.
Burlington, okay, yeah. GTA, but Burlington, yeah.
And I've actually, since being on your show, this was back in February, I showed this off. Since then, I've picked up this album again on CD, which comes with their 2 singles, Tell No Lies and Romantic Traffic, which are not on these, on this vinyl, I mean. And there's new wave. It's so good. There's some keyboards. Rob Bruce on keyboards, which is right here. He went on. I think he's on Broadway now. Very accomplished.
Suite.
He was in Honeymoon Suite in '88 for their album Racing
After Midnight.
Yeah. So very accomplished musician.
Oh, hey Kevin, we were just talking about you earlier in the show. How are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Happy Canada Day, Kevin.
You have a bunch in the collection. That's cool, Kevin. I'm jealous because I only have this album. Like I said, I have it on CD. I have it on vinyl. I'm looking for their other stuff. They're earlier. This is their 3rd album. So they have one called forgetting the first album, something Stick Figure Neighborhood, and then Arias and Symphonies. And they're all great stuff. I recommend checking everything. And last week, this is a new addition to my collection. I found this at a local record store. This is a soundtrack. Spoons played at high school. That's so cool.
Because Mr. Ross, the math computers teacher's brother, Derek Ross, was in the Spoons.
Derek Ross.
There he is.
There.
Yep. And Mr. Ross looked exactly like that guy too.
Did he?
Yeah, they looked identical. Like you could tell that one guy wasn't a teacher because his hair was a little bit.
And yes, I picked this up last week. This is a soundtrack to a 1984 Canadian film directed by Ron Mann called Listen to the City. There you go. And as you can see, it says original soundtrack by Gordon Depp of Spoons. I don't know if it's Depp or Deppe. I've heard both. Depp?
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard both. I'm like, I don't know what's the correct pronunciation. But yeah, he did the music for this film. And as you can see, Sandy Horn, the bassist of the Spoons, she was in the movie. She's also contributed to the soundtrack. Rob Bruce also appears on some songs here. It's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. And those singles I mentioned, Romantic Traffic and Tell No Lies, appear in here.
Oh, Tell No Lies was a great music video. Romantic Traffic is just a great song.
Yeah. Oh,
they had great songs following that. My sister's seen them live. They played in Kincardine, Ontario. Gordon and Sandy as a duo on I think on the street.
I would love to see them live. Like they still got it right. Like you said, Gordon and Sandy are the only remaining members.
Hi to Sarah too.
But it's they're great. And Sandy Horn on bass, like the talent on that woman.
She's great. She's great. Yeah.
Oh, and her vocals, everything. It's if you're gonna check out anything by the Spoons, if you're not familiar with the band, you want to check something out, check out their live at the Spectrum in Montreal concert from '84. It's on YouTube in full. I've watched that concert probably close to 10 times. I often have it on. It's just so good. The energy. They have like some backup musicians too, like on horns. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
So good. And I think that's all I'm going to say. Like I've talked about them on your show before, but I'm hooked. I want to find their other albums, their earlier stuff. I love the Spoons.
Awesome. Okay, well, my number 2. This is not going to surprise anybody who's been watching the show because last week we had on I'm going to call her an Arkell super fan. I believe that she qualifies as an Arkell super fan, but we had on Nurse Cat from Twitter, and I wanted to talk about a band that actually for both of us, it's sort of a recent thing. And Hamilton, Ontario's the Arkells have really resonated. Hey, Chipmunk. Have really resonated with me over the last 2 months, and for her over the last 18 months. For her, I believe she said it was the song Making Do from this album here. I'm going to call it the song Hung Up from this album here, Morning Report. I love it. I don't know what it is. I've been trying to get you into this band. They're not resonating with you like they are with me, but I just love them, and it's got something to do with the lyrics. It's got something to do with the vocals. It's got something to do with the hooks in the songwriting. It's rock. It's definitely not hard rock, although they have rocked hard on some songs. They're very open about we like all genres of music, and there's some sort of hip hoppy beats, and that stuff isn't my cup of tea. On the song Drake's Dad, there's a song Private School here. The opening 2 songs I don't like too much, but everything else is like just hitting me in the feels, and that's what it's all about, right? And I've let each of these albums, I only own 3. I let each of these albums sort of hit me in their own time. And I was seeking out this. I was like, I need to hear the Arkells when I sort of hit my current slump that I'm coming out of. I was like, I need to hear the Arkells. So I started with High Noon, which was at that time the only album I knew. I had it for a few years. And although I always liked it, all of a sudden it was like, wham, it's hitting me. And I was like, repeat, play it again. Repeat, play it again. This is getting monotonous. I need another album. So I bought Michigan Left, the preceding album. And then on Kat's recommendation, I bought Morning Report. And now I'm not allowed to buy anything. So everything else is on my Amazon wish list. And Jen knows which ones I want the most. My number 2 from Hamilton, Ontario, the Arkells, featuring Max Kerman on lead vocals. I love these guys. And Hamilton represent. It's killing it. They're killing it. Hey, where'd you get that tote bag?
Well, you can find one quite like this or similar to this at tpublic.com, wouldn't you know?
You know what? I had to grab a stack of rock tote bag made at one point, but I think right now it's in a California landfill. Anyway.
So let's move on to number 1, shall we?
I can't believe it, dude. I feel like we need, I don't know, something dramatic.
Well, a drum roll?
I don't know. All right. Here we go, folks. It's Jex Russell's number 1.
So for my number 1, what do you say, Mike? What do you say that we stay in Hamilton?
Interesting. I'm surprised, frankly.
Let's keep things in Hamilton. So I'm just going to show you a picture. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you think.
Okay, hang on. We got to do a zoom in here because it's not. Oh, okay. I got it. Yes.
Do these ring a bell? Anyone?
Is it Teenage Head?
Correct.
Uncle Meat's open for them.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, Teenage Head. This is first album, 1979. One moment, please. Second album, 1980, Frantic City. Third album, 1982, Some Kind of Fun. And that's all I brought. I have, I think, 4 other records of theirs.
Yeah, they're still ongoing, even though they've lost.
Two members, yeah. Teenage Head. There you go. Yeah, I love these guys. And this album is the one that started it all for me. In 2005, I was at a pawn shop in my hometown of Bathurst, New Brunswick, and I see this cassette, this cream-colored cassette. No case, no cover. I see Some Kind of Fun. Don't know what it is. I think it was like 25 cents, 50 cents or something. I'm looking at the song titles. I'm seeing Let's Go to Hawaii. I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. And then I see Teenage Beer Drinking Party. And then this is the one that was like the selling point. Shag, Shag. I'm like, I'm getting this cassette. I don't even give a shit. So I got it and instantly hooked, instant fan. I'm like, who are these guys? This is so cool. And then, later that summer, this is 2005, I took a trip to Moncton, New Brunswick, which is where I live now, and I found this. And yeah, I've been picking up any Teenage Head I could find on record, CD, anything. And I just love these guys. They had such an energy. But apparently the way to see them was live. They put on a hell of a live show. I have a bootleg of theirs called King Street Teddy Boys that has some performances from 79, 80, and you could hear that energy. You could just hear it coming out of the grooves, man. They were so good. And like Mike said, we lost a couple of these guys. Frankie Venom died in 2008.
Yeah,
I think, was it cancer? I think
so.
I forget exactly. And then Gord Lewis just last year, actually.
Yeah,
and that's a little more of a kind of a dark story. Apparently, there are suspicions that his son murdered him, but I don't know if he was ever charged or anything. I haven't read further on, but yeah,
you can look it up if you're curious.
Yeah, it's really dark stuff. But let's put all that aside and just say, if you haven't heard these guys, they were once. Well, they've been what's the word I'm looking for? Nicknamed the Canadian Ramones, and you know what? That's kind of an accurate comparison, especially if you listen to this one, the first album, very Ramonesy, very raw. Like the recording on this, it's very the quality is not the greatest, but I like that. I feel like it gives it a charm. And they actually I think it was about 2007, 2008, right before Frankie passed, they recorded an album with Marky Ramone on drums. And that's why and they're just covering it's like re-recording of their old songs, but with Marky on drums. And it's I don't have that one. I would love to find it. Not an easy one to find, but yeah, Teenage Head. I love these guys. Can't get enough of these guys. Check them out. I'm
going to do a graph later with all the cities, but Hamilton's clearly one.
Yeah, I think so. Hamilton and Toronto.
Yeah, it's weighted. It's heavily weighted.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to Kevin and Sarah for watching. It was Kevin who was on the Sloan show on it was one of the very first Scotch on the Rocks with Geek, and they were kind enough to let me submit a little video where I was talking about my Japanese imports.
That's so cool.
Well, that's cool, man. Teenage Head, and again, Uncle Meat has that connection with them that he opened for them. And now I'm looking at my CD here for my number one pick. I only brought one CD for my number one pick, but I own almost everything of theirs. There's a couple things that I'm missing. You remember Instant Live albums when you used to be able to go to a venue and they would have a CD burned of the gig that you just saw as you're leaving the gig that you could purchase, right?
Right.
Well, my number one pick has two such albums, and I have one of the two, but the other's impossible to find. I'm also missing a live promo live LP, live at CFNY, I believe it is. And that's it. Otherwise, I have everything this band has put out. My number one pick from Toronto, Ontario, the criminally unknown overseas Blue Rodeo. The musicianship in this band, and yes, one of the reasons they're not huge is because they are a country rock hybrid. No, Chris, I decided Helix were just too well known overseas. I mean, they played Sweden rock, that kind of thing. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The musicianship in this band is off the charts. I think I've told you before that Basil Donovan, that gentleman right there, Basil Donovan, I think I've told you he's my number 2 Canadian bassist. Period. Guy's incredible. Just walking bass lines up and down. The songwriting of Greg Keeler and Jim Cuddy is akin to a pairing like Jagger Richards or Stanley Simmons or any of these great pairings. It's quite remarkable. The dual lead vocals. You've got the guy who kind of sounds like Bob Dylan, and then you've got the other guy who's a sweet crooner and the ladies love him. And he's also, Jim Cuddy is a bit of a pretty boy. Where's Jim? Jim is right there. Very pretty boy. Anytime we saw him live, the ladies were screaming for Jim Cuddy. Like literally, you can almost hear them, "Fuck me, Jim!" They love him. These guys put out their first single as, what are they called? The Hi-Fis? I can't remember. I forgot to do my research. I think they were the Hi-Fis, and they did a 2-track single. changed their name to Blue Rodeo, changed some members, and they put out their debut album Outskirts in 1986. Massive hit with the ballad Try. Oh, baby, you try. I butchered it there, but Rose-Colored Glasses was another hit. The second album, Diamond Mine, the title track, was a huge hit. Third album, Casino, had Till I Am Myself Again. Huge hit in Canada. Fourth album, Lost Together, title track, huge hit, but end of an era as keyboard player Bobby Wiseman left. And there's a Bobby Wiseman era and there's a post Bobby Wiseman era. This guy was different. He was different. And if you ever hear his solo material, you'll understand what I'm talking about. He is out there. He is in space. And he used to play this little tiny keyboard on stage and kind of dance while he's playing with it. And, you know, he was so visual. He had like dinosaurs, toy dinosaurs glued to his keyboard. And, thank you. Really appreciate your backing on this one, Kevin. Really appreciate it. When he left the band, they lost a very unique kind of keyboard sound. It was very strange, a keyboard player out there would know what he was playing. It was almost like a toy organ looking thing. They then added a slide guitar player, steel guitar player, Kim Deschamps, who had some history, I believe, with the Cowboy Junkies. And they added another keyboard player, and they expanded to a 6-piece. And they've been growing as a band ever since. I think they've got 3 guitar players now, but the core band of Jim Cuddy, Greg Keeler, and Basil Donovan go back to the debut album and have been there through the whole history. And in 94, they added drummer Glenn Milcham, who has some history with Andy Curran, who has been on our show, Andy Curran of Coney Hatch. He played on Andy Curran's debut solo album. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was self-titled, but a lot of people call it the No Tattoos album. And he's in the video for No Tattoos. Glenn Milcham on drums, and he went off to Blue Rodeo and has been with them ever since. The guy is an amazing drummer. I've talked enough about Blue Rodeo. My number one. I've seen him live like 6 times. I could keep going all day about this band.
I love it.
Yeah, my number one. And thank you, Kevin, again for your support. I brought a couple other things I just want to show off.
Yes, I have one thing as well.
Okay, cool. These are also unknown bands outside of Canada. Psycho Circus. This is their debut self-titled EP. They had a song called Pulsate. They were kind of like a Faith No More kind of sound, but funkier. Their debut album was, what was it called? I can't remember. Anyway, this is their debut EP. So Psycho Circus.
Did they come before or after the Kiss album?
Long before. This is like 1992, 93, but their song Pulsate. Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's got this rock rap hybrid kind of sound, but with those Faith No More kind of ominous keyboards. And the singer was one of those guys that could just go up and down and woo and all over the place.
Okay.
Like an amazing band. We have Russian Blue.
Oh, yeah. You told me about these guys.
Yep. Once a Madman being the key track. They later evolved into a band called Feel. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I have uploaded a Feel track that I'm going to play.
Oh, you should play that after.
Let me just check. Oh shit, didn't upload. Maybe I can still do that. Bear with me. Anyway, this was a great band. The lead vocalist Joey Donner was kind of compared to sort of like a young Robert Plant in terms of range and power. I can't say enough good stuff about this band. Look at that cassette, Sony Metal SR. That's a high grade cassette right there. This is right off the board, you know. Here's another band, Gypsy Jane. Featuring what's the guy's name? There's the lead Johan Lindstedt on guitar. He's now a flamenco guitar player and quite well known. John T. Snow knows who Johan Lindstedt is. This is a freaking great little EP. Again, Meat Magazine, Oakville, Ontario. Slash Puppet out of Tirana. This is the demo that started it all, featuring Slow Down. Attitude later became Jesus Christ. Break the Walls Down was the single off of this.
I never heard of any of these guys.
No, eh?
No.
Anyway, those are some of my indie cassettes from my Meat magazine days. And on the CD side, I decided Harem Scarum were just a little bit too well known in Japan. But I have Harry Hess's very first band, Blind Vengeance. There's Harry Hess right there. Right there, Harry. And I also have his debut solo album, Hess. This is a Japanese import with bonus track, Uphill Climb. Is there anything else? Oh, and Harry Hess, incidentally, he masters all the Arkells albums. So he's got a credit on all those Arkells.
Wow.
And I think...
Once again, small world.
Small world. I think that's it. I think that's it for stuff that I brought.
I have one honorable mention, just because we talked about this guy yesterday.
I know who you're going to say. Let's see.
I had to bring it. Thor.
There it is. Oh, you have it on CD, dude.
Yeah.
I got it on vinyl.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
And that is when he looked like He-Man.
Right. Look at this guy. Yeah. Prince Adam right there. So, yeah, this is,
You got to keep the dogs away. You got to keep the dogs at bay. So I'll just tell you a personal Thor story.
Yeah, please.
I was aware of him growing up thanks to CanCon, which is, for those who don't know, it's a rule that I believe Canadian radio stations and TV stations are required to play what percentage of Canadian content?
Is it 70?
That's a lot. It's high, 70. So guys like Thor, who normally wouldn't have got national airplay, was frequently on Much Music. Plus, he was a character. He would bend steel bars in his mouth and blow hot water bottles with his breath. And he had 3 singles that Much Music played frequently. But in 1986, I had mono, and I was away. I was home from school for like 3 months.
Wow.
Watching the Pepsi Power Hour. And I remember at the end of that summer, I was back at school for like 1 week before graduation. Remember Keep the Dogs Away was one of the new songs to me that I had recorded that summer. And I remember driving up to the cottage listening to Got to Keep the Dogs Away on my earbuds, on my earphones.
That's so cool.
I want to also shout out Rockhead featuring Bob Rock.
Okay.
Glass Tiger.
Them I know.
We mentioned Red Rider featuring Tom Cochran.
Yeah.
And a local band that I interviewed at the tail end of the LeBrain train called the Seagram Synth Ensemble, who are so freaking good. 3 guys who play synth. They're geniuses. I forgot to bring their single FM with me, which is a single encoded in a box with a 9-volt battery. I'm not kidding. Go back and watch our Seagram Synth Ensemble interview. They invented a new format to release music on, and it's brilliant. So those are my runners up.
Right on. I just had the one.
We went well over an hour and a half, Jex.
Yeah. Great show.
Yeah, great show indeed. We could have probably done this a lot faster, but we were having way too much fun.
Oh, well, yeah. Might as well enjoy it. Look at the weather over there. Look at the weather you're having.
Look at the weather. It's great. It's Friday.
Long weekend.
Man.
Long weekend.
Long weekend. I think I've unboxed everything. I have a shirt for every day this weekend.
Yeah. Really?
And like I said, if you want to support the show or John T. Snow or Tim's Vinyl Confessions, you just go to tpublic.com and you can search for us there. And we'd really appreciate it if you bought a shirt or a mug or even like a sticker, anything.
Speaking of merch, a little message to the viewers out there. There was a little Easter egg peppered throughout this video, and I'm wondering if anyone noticed it.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. Have a happy Canada Day weekend with you and your fam.
You too.
And folks, we're going to be playing some tunes for a little bit longer. So first up, here is I Become You by Feel. See you later, Jex. We'll be talking.
See you, Mike. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We got lots of music coming. Ciao.
washing off my muddy feet. Here you wanted to try to fight some way, change the things we've done, split my mind in two. Crystal clear, innocence it seems, sadistic ways to wash away what you're believing. Someone said to you, you've been dropping lies, cool vicious tongue, breaking all my ties. I don't know you, can't control you, held a gun to what was once true. All I've been through made me into what you wanted. I become you. Blunt your conscience, drown the pain. Swallow deep, you know inside I'll still remain. I know who you are, I know what you do. I can feel your thoughts, all the burning through. Blunt your oceans, cast yourself adrift. When you're sinking, trap you can, you're falling into me. Someone else's problem, this is not my trip. You're inside of me, stick me with a fit. I don't know you, can't control you, held a gun to what was once true. All I've been through made me into what you wanted. I become you.
This year, the rock world is going to feel North America's best kept secret. A band true to their roots, get in touch with the world of today and the sounds of tomorrow. It's the debut release from Feel.
I watch above you until you walk alone. Oh, my love, take you my way.
Songs that speak with integrity, power, and feel. Music that moves you from artists who play from the depths of their soul. Feel this. The band is Feel, the album This. Real music from real musicians who express all the things in our lives that make us think and feel.
Ain't nothing wrong.
make sure to check out Feel, their debut CD this soon to be released internationally. Feel this and be ready to feel something you've never felt before.